So we're turning to technology. Now, this is for non-tech heads, okay? So I'm not a tech head. I was born, I'm going to tell you, I was born in the 60s, like, seriously. Sorry, it's a lot of talking. Yeah, so I was born in the 60s. I'm not a tech head, but I can use technology. It's not that hard. There are some really easy technology that you can use that once you get started on, you'll be like, oh, why didn't I do this earlier? Makes your life so much easier. So to start with, I'm pretty sure we all use stuff on Google Workspace. Be surprised if you don't use something on the Google Workspace, but I'm not sure if you know how much it can actually do. If you do, if you're a techie, you can switch off in this bit. Or you can just, look at something else. So obviously Google Drive, we potentially would be using to store everything. And this is all free unless you need to upgrade because of storage and stuff. This is costing you nothing, so it's perfect. Google Sheets is basically just your Excel spreadsheets. Google Forms is how you're going to collect information rather than trying to get people to respond to an email. You're going to send the form, they fill in the form and press submit, and it's done. They don't have to type it into an email and send it back to you. So Google Forms, your Google Docs, which is just Word, which I'm sure you're using, and your Google Sites is how you're going to set up a nice internal website for your studio. I'm sure we're all using Gmail, 100%. We're probably all using the Google Calendar as well. Google Classroom is one that some of you may not be using. This came to me during lockdown. I used it quite a lot. We use it all the time still now, again, free. And it is great for if you're teaching anything that has theory or you need to put anatomy up or anything like that. You can allocate a classroom for that class and you can put all of that stuff in. The kids can hand it in. You can give them due dates. It's really simple to use and most kids know how to use Google. So most kids will have Classroom easily accessible. We use it for our vet dance program and it's really simple. So if you want to look at something like that, would also be good for exams when there's extra theory and stuff like that you want to put up. All right, Trello. I did mention Trello earlier. I do love Trello. Again, another freebie. You do have paid plans, but I've never gone on a paid plan and I have like 1,000 boards. This was just an example of some old ones from my studio. And the grey one there, that was my office staff. So my office staff had like a templates one. They could just go on and copy any email that they needed to use for responses, like current ones. They had links, they had timetables, that, things that they would use a lot of. Passwords, all my passwords were listed there. Things I wanted to do in the start of the shift. And then personal ones, like this is Georgia's, just do this. So that was kind of how I would work it within the team. Once they're finished, it's just sticky notes. Like who doesn't love a sticky note? They're just sticky notes and they move. You can just drag and drop them and add more. They're just sticky notes. The other one I didn't manage, one of my team leaders managed. So on a Monday, she would call me and she would say, what's happening this week? And we would go. So we just had, like, it was 10 o'clock on a Monday, took us 15 minutes and I'd go, this is happening, now or in the next couple of weeks, I need the people to know. So she'd write that down and then she'd create these boards and each team member would have their name. They had to go to their actual card with their name and tick off that they'd read everything. As simple as that. It took a while. Like she did have to chase a lot of the team members. You can see there the green ones are done. You can see mine aren't done because I knew what was there, so I didn't have to tick my own off. But she would have to chase team members, yes, and she would have to have a talk to them about your boards aren't marked off. The reason for this sort of thing and for the systems was, and why we were so adamant about our boards, one of our best teachers, she was amazing, there was absolutely never made hardly any mistakes, she was just great, was teaching a class and it happened to be around Father's Day. There had been a note go out that all the dads have been invited. So the dads have taken time off work because it was early class, like a 4 o'clock class. So there's heaps of dads in the corridor. We had a viewing window and all the dads are like, well, I'm here, what's going on? She didn't know that they'd been invited. So she had not invited them into class. Just didn't know. Could you imagine if we ended up sorting it because there was luckily another teacher saw it and sorted it out. But that's just a lack of communication. That teacher could have caused, those dads would have been furious, yelled at the mum, like it would have been horrible. We would have had to deal, the office staff, like it would have been a nightmare. So we were very, very, very particular about our communication and making sure that those situations never happened again. My favorite. I love ChatGPT. Use it all the time. Just love it. There's so many things you can do. I don't know, some of you have probably used it, and it's so much easier in person because people put their hands up if they've used it or not. You can tell Brendan's reading the chat, or I think we've got Ching and Brendan. And so if you've used it before, welcome to tell us if you've got any great ideas with it. I just use this for some really simple this time. I just put in, I'm a dance studio owner and I want to create 5 social posts that I can also turn into blogs and emails. Please give me the ideas. So it's written here, certainly. It's so polite. So, and yes, sometimes I do use please. People say why, but someone said to me once, and I've never gotten over it. He said, so when the machines rise up and take over the world, they're going to be nicer to me because I was polite to them. I'm like, yeah, fair call. So I do use my please and thank yous with ChatGPT. But yeah, your ideas would be, so they've got post idea is a dance tip of the week. And they say what the social post would look like, what the blog would look like, and what the email would say. Then another one, obviously it gave me all 5. Another one was spotlight on a dance instructor. Just gave some ideas. That's using it at a very basic level. I have created a voice, like a paragraph that says what my voice is. So I kept writing until I found, yes, I'm really happy with that. Because, you know, you can go in there and write as a cheerleader. You can write as Tony Robbins. You can write as, I don't know, like anyone, you know, Abraham Lincoln. You can write however you want. So it'll give you response in that voice. So I did some testing and found a voice that I liked. And I said, I love this. Please tell me what this voice is. Like, how could I give that back to you so you always write like this? And it told me what to tell it. So then I tell it right in this voice, and it gives my studio voice. So it actually gave me my voice, if that makes sense. And now I can write anything. So, you know, I've written curriculum on it. I've written letters. I've written email, like everything. It's unlimited once you get used to using it and using it properly. You do have to check it and you do have to adapt it. Don't just use it and cut and paste, but it's amazing. So you need to get onto it if you haven't yet. I'm pretty sure everyone's on Canva, so I'm not going to spend too much time on Canva because I'm pretty sure absolutely everyone's on Canva. If you're not, message us and we'll give you some information, but it can do the most amazing things, and it's getting new stuff all the time, just constantly getting new stuff in Canva, which is great. We do have a training on dance studio owners and Canva in our business program, and she was amazing. The lady who did the training back. And this one is, you know, I think you should be using your own images. If you want to get your studio brand, using your own images is great. But if you don't have that image that you need on that day, you know, sometimes both Pixabay and Unsplash are free photos, and they do have some good dance ones. You do have to search sometimes and change your search, but free images, and you don't have to pay for them, which is great. Place It is a little bit different. Place It, you can take your studio logo and pop it on a cup or pop it on a t-shirt or pop it on a pair of jeans or whatever. So then you can print that out and sell the merch, picture of the merch, like it's on a person running or whatever. Put it on the merch first and sell it that way rather than getting in samples and, you know, the expense of that. It doesn't help you with sizing, but it helps you with how it's going to look. And what else have we got here? So we talked about email marketing quite a bit. I did tell you how important I think your email marketing is, getting those scheduled posts out. Sorry, not scheduled posts, the emails out. These are 2. MailChimp does have a free version. I think it's limited to like, I don't know, 500 people or something. Active Campaign isn't free, but it's quite low cost, and they are limited in a different way. So they're quite different. I think if you're going to get one or the other, I would suggest Active Campaign's probably better. But a lot of people still use MailChimp. And I think MailChimp does link into Meta quite easily. So definitely, because you do want to get those scheduled emails out. These ones here are paid mostly. So Calendly is your calendar. So if you want to send out this is when I'm free. As a CEO, you don't want to just be free all the time. If people need to make appointments with you, teachers want to talk to you, make appointments, parents need to make appointments, you know, whatever it might be, you can send them your calendar link and they can just book in. It's actually really quite good. Choreo Maker and Choreo Room, I've never used those ones, but some of my students in VCE, Vet Dance, love those. And so I put them there just in case. It helps space dancers and stuff. Descript is a great video program, and I don't like cutting video. So Descript, you can record the video and then you can cut by what you say. So you can cut by the actual text. So I can just go, oh, that was really dumb, I shouldn't have said that. And I can just go cut from there to there and cut my words out, or cut my ums, ahs out, or whatever it might be. So Descript is quite fun. That is paid. Zapier has a free version as well, but obviously limited. And Zapier, I'll talk to you about in a minute, can zap one program to another program. So you can read the list and it can connect programs together. So it might connect your I don't know, your leads in Meta to your Excel spreadsheets, you know, or your Google Docs or Forms, whatever it is, but it can link those together, for example. So it just links different programs. Your customer relations management systems, these are the most common. I have not used all of them and I cannot tell you about all of them. It's something you would need to research and see what suits your studio. I believe I use DSP, and I think you can do a Zapier link to an accounting program, because I didn't feel the accounting in there was usable. But so apparently one of the other ones, I think it might have been Studio Lab, does have an accounting system, and Dance Biz doesn't. So they're all different. But looking at those, look at what you need for your studio and have a search. But you definitely need to have customer relations management system. There are other ones like MindBody and stuff like that you can research as well. They're just the most common ones that I found, especially on our Facebook pages. You know, this question comes up every 5 minutes. They're probably the ones that most people suggest. So your accounting system, as I said, I needed it. So your accounting systems here that are common, MyOb, Xero, and QuickBooks. Zapier will probably link to some of those. That's, again, something you might want to look at, or you might not need it depending on what your CRM is. So, but obviously you need to have some sort of accounting system and an accountant, a good one. This is Techmatics. This is future, is going to be hopefully really good for the dance industry. She's currently Sarah, that's Sarah who created that. There, she's lovely. An Australian. She lives in Perth at the moment, and she created Techmatics because she's an online course creator. She was sick of paying, which I'm sure you all get, subscriptions for everything. It was constant. So she's tried to put them all into one. So it's just one monthly subscription where everything is put under there. We've given you our link there because she can do, you know, it's good if you can't go through us. She knows it, you know, it's through us, and it's good for us because we get like a deal with her. We put people into Techmatics, but at the moment she's still working on the specific dance related side. At the moment it does email marketing. So you don't need your MailChimps or any of those. It does your calendar appointments. You don't need Calendly. It does social media scheduling. So you can schedule across a whole broad range of social media, not just Meta. It will host your website if you want it to. And course creation. So when you join our program, we have our courses hosted on there so that all of the stuff that doesn't need to be in person, you can access on your course portal. So you can put any sort of courses up there, and they can be a broad range of courses for studios, for parents, whatever. At communities, like it has a community page where you can chat, and it also has a branded app you can use. She's working at the moment, we have discussed in the next 12 months, she's working on specific dance related things like, you know, your class manager and attendance and all of that stuff. So that's something she's working on, and hopefully within the next 12 months, this will be a one-stop shop where you have to have no other subscriptions, but we will keep you up to date with how that one's going with Techmatics. Lightning sites is what we currently use for our website. And again, we've given you a personal link here, and there's a bit of a deal for lightning sites at the end, but amazing websites. They also have a branch called Dance Sites, which they've run for many, many years. So they actually totally understand our industry. So that is something, if you are going to get a new website, I would probably look into, and you want it like managed as well, like they'll do everything for you. I would look at Lightning Sites. Who's our program for? Yes, we have a 12-month business program that incorporates all of the things we've talked about today. It's for current studio owners who would like to grow, systemize, monetize, and simply gain more control over their studio and their life, and, you know, create their perfect studio life. it could also be for those who want to start out, who are starting up and want to grow without some of those costly mistakes that come with trial and error, because there's really only the two ways, trial and error or getting a coach that can help you through. So why did I start the business program? It was 33 years of owning a studio. I had a lot of knowledge over that time. Obviously, that roller coaster we all go on as studio owners was quite full on. I had 25 students, I had 500 students, I had a full-time studio, a part-time studio. There were so many things that I'd learned, mistakes I'd made, and things that I did well. So these are all things that I wanted to pass on, because I'm not going to just close my studio down and leave the industry that supported me for my whole life, basically. So I wanted to give back, and this was the way that I could do it with my qualifications in training and business and dance, and it just seemed to make natural sense that I moved this way. I was quite distressed that the best studio owners, or the people who have the best studios, best training, are not always the best, biggest, most profitable studios, because they're not necessarily the best at marketing. Well, that's not really all that fair. I was annoyed that studio owners don't take wages every week. We feel guilty about, we make sure everyone else is paid. Some still are not taking wages every week, and that's just how we are, because we love what we do, and the passion takes over from the business sense, which is again not fair. We should be getting rewarded for what we do. And then there was the lack of respect that during COVID was shown to our industry as a whole. I found this really, really bothered me. I know that I used to have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder that, yes, I'm in a business program, a wider business program, but I'm just a dance studio, or I'm just a performing arts studio. It was ridiculous. And I thought other people probably have these same chips on their shoulders. Are we causing people not to respect our industry just because we have these imposter syndromes and these issues, because we didn't start as business owners, we started as passionate dancers? So there's a lot of reasons, why I went the way I've gone. And, there's no regulation in Australia in our industry. Maybe other countries it's different. It'd be good to hear about New Zealand and the US and Canada, what they've got. But as far as Australia, we don't have any regulation. So how are we going to support and strengthen the industry? And I felt through being able to offer accredited training and being a registered training organisation, I could help. So that's a bit about the program and where it came from. I believe, and they can, studios can be making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. It's all possible, and that's profit. That's after you take your wages and everything. Like it's definitely doable. It's the same as any other business. It just has to be done the right way. And this is what I think we just need to move into the modern era and start realizing that we can do this the same as any other business. I'm sure some studio owners are already, but I think the problem is the dance teacher ladder is, we've climbed the dance teacher ladder. We're amazing. As teachers, and we've got to the top of our game, and we're feeling really comfortable, and it might even be winning everything and having that I'm the best studio, but you can't then jump from being a great teacher and having great kids to having a great business. That ladder's too far. You can't jump over it, and it's a totally different skill set. So you've only got one choice, and that choice is to suck it up, put your big girl panties on, climb back down. And you need to be able to acknowledge that there's a new skill set you need to learn, which is hard when we're at the top of our game as teachers. So then you've got to start implementing change. You can do that on your own. You can do that with a coach, but you've got to start implementing the changes, moving across to the next ladder, and then start climbing back up the business ladder, and conquer that ladder as well, just using your, compound interest, one step at a time. Climb up that ladder until you get to the top of the business ladder as well. That's when you've got to know that your studio's become your perfect place. You're the entrepreneur, that word gets thrown around a lot, because it just breaks my heart when some of the best studios end up closing down because it gets too hard. Someone put on a Facebook page yesterday, I'm looking at selling my studio because it's just too hard. And everybody else was like, yeah, this is maybe how you can sell it. And I just went, maybe you can look at something else. Maybe you can look at systemizing it so that it's not so hard, because if it's just because it's hard, that's sad. You can make it easier. It'll take time, but you can make it easier. So you need to be, making the money so you can have the most impact. And so let's try and help everybody